All right, so this is just a very quick video to introduce you to absolute value. We'll take our official notes tomorrow or on the block day on Thursday for you. And this is just to help you do a little bit of practice after the quiz. So I think you're probably familiar with absolute value. One way to describe it is it's the distance from zero on the number line, how far away the number is from zero, and the key thing about it is it's always positive. And so this is the notation that we use, that little absolute value symbol, those vertical bars. And so the absolute value of 5 is 5 because how far away is 5 from 0 on the number line? It's 5 away. But the absolute value of -5 is also 5. And that's because we always count this distance as positive. Even though we went to the left, we still say it's 5 units away from 0. So the negative just sort of goes away when you take the absolute value. And so this lets us solve a variety of equations now. And so here's sort of a simple equation, absolute value of x equals 7. So we just have to remember that when the absolute value of x is 7, then x could be 7 or x could be -7. Okay? A little bit more complicated one is we now have absolute value of 2x minus 1 equals 9. And so we still just have to think about, well, I'm taking the absolute value of this whole thing here, and it's 9. How could that happen? Well, that thing on the inside could be 9, in which case I get this little equation, which I solved, by adding 1 and dividing by 2. But then we have to remember that that thing on the inside could also be -9. So if that circle is -9, then this equation is going to work because the absolute value of -9 is 9. So I get this whole other equation that I need to solve. And so I set the whole equation equal to -9, I add 1, I divide by 2, and I get -4. And so we end up with two answers to the equation because there are two things that have an absolute value of 9. Okay, so there'll be a little bit of practice of that on the worksheet after the quiz. And then there'll also be a couple graphing problems, and the way we're going to graph is just by making a table. And so you'll plug in the x value, plug it in, replace x, so I get -3 plus 2. It's -1, and the absolute value of -1 is 1. Then I plug in -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. We didn't talk about that up above, but the absolute value of 0, it's 0, right? It's not any distance away from itself on the number line, and so on. And then after you get the values, you could plot them on the graph. We'll talk more about it on the block day, but that's what you will be working on after the quiz. Thank you.